Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Witcher 2 Dark Difficulty video walkthrough. We're in Chapter 2. This is an optional mission called Baltimore's Nightmare, and it's going to enable us to get a really powerful weapon. And I've just got myself into a really big shit sandwich. So, you might remember this area from the Harpy contract. There is a crystal that I did not get my first time around, which I just picked up now, which triggered this fight. You'll have to excuse me, I'm just taking my jacket off. Whew. And when you pick up it up, it's a scripted moment for all those harpies to spawn, and I probably should have died then. So you want to be careful if you do what I do, and you end up getting trapped in that little corner where you know you can't move and you have to come out swinging or face ultimate destruction. So once you've done that, and I think you might have to play it back, or you might just need the crystal. You want to come back to Vergen, as you've just seen there's been a crossfade, and when you come up to this area of the town, this empty house, or this locked door, it's going to give this little notification with the camera that it's doing now, and it's going to inform you of Baltimore's Nightmare, a side quest with this dwarf. And from this point onwards, you want to talk to the dwarves, because they're going to give you an idea of what's going on. They're going to elucidate you a little bit more on Master Baltimore. And it's going to kick off a sequence of rather cryptic instructions. And on your first time through, it's kind of tricky and unconventional on how you find your way through this mission. And it's one of the big differences between a console-derived game and something that is derived from PC making. And what I mean by that is that some of the puzzles are puzzles that you just don't see on console, because they're quite archaic and quite complicated, to say, to simplify it. So when stuff like this does happen, it is, a little bit more misleading for people that are so used to following waypoints. And I've got to admit, guys, when I was looking at it, I was like, this is really not clear. And I managed to figure it out, and it is kind of cool when you figure it out, because it is that much more complicated than your average, console game. But the joys of a walkthrough is you don't have to figure it out if you don't want to. You could just watch what I do, because when you come into the workshop, you'll notice there's a funny wall over here which you can knock down with Ard, and that's going to access the next point in this event. And you might be thinking, well, this was designed with console in mind, so it doesn't really count to being much of a PC game, even though the PC version is obviously superior in every way. And I would agree with you there, because this is definitely focused at console. And CD Projekt have even made a lot of, commissions with the PC version as well, because it now supports the gamepad, which the original one didn't, which is massive for a lot of things. And it was one of the first hurdles that stopped me from actually going near Witcher 1, which I'm glad I overcame my own bitchiness. But right, once you've done that, you want to go towards the trolls. So you'll notice there's been a little crossfade, but instead of going to the Troll's Lair, we're going to be moving through the fields with the harpies. And I don't know if you've explored up here, I hope you have, so you know where you're going. But this leads to this sunken pirate ship, which continues the Mystic River side quest. But directly across from the Mystic River is a bunch of like liaras and crazy bushes and stuff that are guarding a door. They're obscuring it, and the door's locked. Surprise, surprise. But now that we've got that key, we're going to be able to open it. And I believe the key was the box down at the bottom of the quarry, which I cut to earlier. If you're paying attention, which I hope you are, you should have this in the bag. But once you do grab the key, it's going to enable you to open the door. And I'm just running around here to make sure I didn't miss any enemies, and then I'm going to loot them, because harpy feathers are extremely lucrative when you get enough of them. But once you go inside the building, you're going to get interrupted by some dwarfs who really didn't want you to stumble upon the place, because it turns out they weren't the kindest folks to Baltimore, and they don't want you sniffing around in the mystery. And they're going to attack you. And it's one of the only real instances in the game where you do fight dwarfs, which I think is quite interesting. And there will no doubt be other times that I've probably forgot or perhaps not done. But they're just like any human character on the game. You fight them the same, and the biggest enemy and the biggest threat is the room itself, because it's not the biggest room. But compared to some areas in the game, it's still manageable. But this is the galleon, the crashed ship, and through here is the sneaky door. So through the sneaky door, with the amazing loading screens that I've trimmed out, because the game does not load like that, guys. Do not expect it to. Not even on PC will the game load that fast. That is just reserved for dreams and edited footage. But you come in here, you pick up this, and then those dwarfs we spoke about at the beginning come here and educate us on the fact that these guys knew all about this. So Geralt waxes poetic with them. Got some dynamite beards. They're not quite as good as the beards from Witcher 1. In Witcher 1 the beards were literally to their feet. It was like having Cousin It on your face. They look great. They're much more reserved in this one. But here we go. Time to take them on. So I immediately start by casting Ard, and I get an instant kill on the right dwarf. Cast it again, get a stun on the two main guys. Couple of hits, bounce away. Ard once again. He blocks it there, so we kind of do a little bit of a clash. Ard once again into instant kill. He's the only guy left, and he knocks me down with an axe, which you've not seen knocked down too much on my guide so far, but it was prevalent before the patch. And if you want to know what that's like, play the arena mode, because the arena mode seems to essentially be unpatched version of Witcher 2, which at some points is just completely horrible. You get stun locked by everything. Not fun at all. But now that you've finished them off, you can loot the room. Once you've looted the room, you want to go back to Cecil Burden, and Cecil Burden is going to give you a fantastic sword for doing what we just did. And that is effectively the end of the quest. So now we have, you know, a ton of really good swords. I believe this one's called the Griffin, and I think, don't quote me on this though, that it is the most powerful, like non-dark mode exclusive steel sword for this part of the game. So there you go, folks. Thank you for watching, and you take care now.